What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Lately, it seems like Sony and Microsoft are in a race to see who can be most anti-consumer, and it's really gross. Like watching what's transpiring between raising PS Plus prices and then having a disk drive that requires an internet to connect to set it up initially, and now we get Microsoft doing this. One of the most anti-consumer moves I've seen in a very long time. And yes, there are some people out there defending Microsoft because always there's another side to this, which I'll get to. But I have a very strong opinion on this matter. And if you don't like strong opinions, you should probably stop watching this video. Microsoft will be blocking third party accessories that are not approved by them. And they're hiding behind this veil of, oh, console safety, player safety. We're doing it for your safety. Doesn't that remind you of, I don't know, how governments operate when they want to get something done and make money from people? It's exactly what this big corporation is doing to you, the consumer. And some of you are perfectly happy with it because you think this is going to resolve cheaters on Xbox. I got news for you. If you think that doing this is going to stop people from cheating, I got a bridge to sell you. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for my full breakdown and thoughts on this ridiculously anti-consumer practice by Microsoft with the Xbox consoles and removing third-party accessories that aren't approved by their god and savior, Microsoft. This is a big issue. Wario64 posted on Twitter from November 12th, 2023, Microsoft will no longer allow unauthorized third-party accessories to be used with its Xbox consoles. According to sources, Microsoft plans to expand its program for approved third-party wireless Xbox controllers coming from Windows Central. Most people heard about this from Wario64 on Twitter. His post blew up with people on both sides of the fence, but most people siding with where I'm coming from, where this is one of the most anti-consumer practices you can do against the gamers that are buying your product with the assumption that they can do what the hell they want with it because they own it. Microsoft is using this as an attempt to take that power back from the players. My post on Wario's feed gained a lot of traction on both sides of the issue. As of right now, it has over 1,000 hearts on it, where I stated, are Sony and Microsoft in a race to see who can be most anti-consumer? To which I got a ton of replies where, oh, found the cheater, found the dude that uses Chronos, finds this guy that hates all these people that try to play games properly. It's like, no, dude, like that's not anywhere in the realm of, that didn't even enter my mind, because this is not going to stop cheating. It's not going to prevent cheaters. Will it be another hurdle for some people? Sure, it's going to be a hurdle for some people, but cheaters gonna cheat, and if they get blocked one way, they're gonna find a way around it. That's what always happens. But in the meantime, people getting caught up in the crossfire of this kind of decision are those who are just purchasing third-party products that they want, that they enjoy using with the platform that they purchased, that they own. Microsoft is taking away consumer choice by making this decision. And while not a one-for-one comparison, I want to do a little show and tell with you guys here real quick. I bought this Injustice Gods Among Us arcade fight stick on the Xbox 360 on clearance because it's a great fight stick. It genuinely is. It feels like you're at the arcade when you're playing it. It's got the USB out. It's got lights on it. It's perfect as far as an arcade stick goes for the average gamer, the average fighter. Like, I'm not a pro gamer. I'm not a pro fighter. I don't pretend to be one, but I enjoy playing my games on an arcade stick when it's a fighting game. Got this for the Xbox 360. It works fantastic. I bought the Xbox One, plugged it in. Guess what? Doesn't work, even though it's a USB out. And people will say, oh, well, that's because, it wasn't designed for Xbox. No, it was designed for Xbox, and it was a simple switch that Microsoft could have flipped to have it work. But instead of that, they decided to not allow the previous generation console controller to work with the next generation console system because they wanted to sell another new console controller to everyone all over again. And that's the only reason they would make a decision like that. This controller is, by all accounts, universal. It plugs in and works on my PC perfectly fine. It even plugs into the New Wave Toys arcades, and I can play Street Fighter 2 with this thing. So Microsoft specifically made a decision, a choice to make this USB not function with the next generation of Xbox consoles. And it's not just Xbox that does stuff like that. Sony did the same thing with the racing wheel, with the Gran Turismo racing wheel, where they didn't let it work with the next generation of PlayStation console. You had to buy a brand new racing wheel, which sure, it's better than the old one. I get that. But it would work if they just enabled the USB. These companies are anti-consumer. They're making you buy the same product all over again with a USB. What does USB stand for? Universal. It's supposed to work with everything. That little plug plugs in, and all these companies need to do is enable it to work on them. And they don't. As far as I can tell, this was first noticed by Windows Central. Many Xbox users have been reporting encountering warning messages of error messages saying when you plug in third-party accessories, the error translates to the accessory not being manufactured by Microsoft or any of its licensed hardware partners. While it remains unconfirmed whether this block will apply to both the Xbox Series X and S, the assumption is obviously yes. Like, why would it work for one and not the other with a decision like this? But you know who the real people that are getting hurt by this? Game companies that are trying to make it, that are participating in this industry, that are creating products for the consoles that they love and enjoy playing and wanting to make them better. A company like Brook Gaming, who had to put out a message saying that basically everything they make is being affected by this decision because they are not an authorized reseller of Xbox products. They haven't been an authorized third-party company. They haven't paid Microsoft enough money to get a sticker on their product. That's what it comes down to. So don't tell me this has anything to do with cheating. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but here's the message they posted on their Twitter, and they state that they're extending their heartfelt appreciation for the support of the community, and they want to share this crucial information about their affected products and what could be coming to an end in the next couple weeks, ever since they found out about what Microsoft is doing to third-party companies. This is not okay, and the community should not be accepting of it. Maximilian Dude on Twitter tagged Phil Spencer, "Heyo, Xbox PS3, Xbox, and Matt Booty. This is essentially a death sentence for local fighting game events that run on Xbox, much less others that can only afford one arcade stick. The Brook Gaming fans' converters are not cheap devices. They're a huge boon for FGC. Please reconsider." This is a clear message from someone who is very well known in the fighting community, especially about these products, these devices, saying, you guys got this wrong. Like, clearly, if you don't listen to Maximilian Dude here, you are doing this out of pure greed. It has nothing to do with cheating devices or anti-cheating measures, because if that was the case, you could, Microsoft, specifically create a program to block those devices specifically. But no, you are creating this blanket statement across everything that's ever been made for Microsoft platforms to not function unless these companies pay up to get that sticker of certification with you guys. And I don't even know, but I'm going to make an assumption that you get a percentage of the sales, or you get to determine who gets to be in your industry and who doesn't. And you are now the gatekeeper for everything being sold that has anything to do with your product. I feel like something like this has already been fought on multiple fronts, even back in the old NES days with the Game Genie situation that Game Genie won in court, by the way. So I don't think this is a good area for Microsoft to be treading in, because this is a lawsuit waiting to happen by consumers that initially purchase a product under the assumption that it works, and it does, and then some arbitrary date in the future, Microsoft just decides to implement this decision to nullify anything that's ever been created outside of the Xbox approved area. In insult to injury, once the error message pops up, players will only have 2 weeks to continue using that accessory before it's permanently disabled. Microsoft suggests that the users reach out to the store or manufacturer for a return or a replacement. This is beyond unacceptable, and we're entering a realm of pure insanity. Imagine that you were a third party company making products, going about your business, doing everything above the board, doing everything right, and it's perfectly legal. There's no anything wrong with it legally for what you're doing. And then the company that you're making the products that function with it for just decide to implement the, oh, you don't work with us anymore and we're not allowing that anymore, even though they have no legal jurisdiction to do so. But even if that happens and the law doesn't come into play, we'll just go along with me here. The company will be impacted to a point of going out of business. People lose jobs. The controllers they've created are non-functional anymore. There's a huge amount of waste created by these companies that always claim to be, oh, we care about the earth, we care about the preservation of these materials. No, you just created an entire garbage heap of controllers that no longer function anymore because you implemented an update, a patch that breaks how they work. Ultimately, the real issue here, and I will die on this hill, is consumer choice. And this removes the ability to have that choice. As the customer of Microsoft buying an Xbox, you went into it with the idea that I can use my third-party accessories on it. And Microsoft, after you purchase your device, makes a decision backtracking that into a time that before you purchased it, saying, we know you bought it with this idea in mind initially. We changed our mind and we're now patching it so that everything you've purchased in the past that's third party not approved by us is not going to work anymore on your console. That is anti-consumer and greed to the extreme. And I don't know what the hell's going on with the game industry right now, but this warpath that Sony and Microsoft, especially, and Nintendo, you're not innocent either, I'm leaving you out of this, because it's really Sony and Microsoft, it seems right now, that are the extreme anti-consumer practice. They keep going down this path of making it harder and harder to justify their decisions. And I want them to be good. I want them to be successful. I enjoy these companies and the games that come out on their platforms. But when they make decisions like this, it's really hard to stand behind them. This sucks. It's a terrible decision by Phil Spencer and the entire team over at Xbox and Microsoft, and whoever's making these decisions over there should seriously reconsider. It glaringly seems like a thinly veiled power grab that reduces consumer choice. Gamers are being pushed towards Microsoft-approved accessories, giving them less freedom to decide what they want to use. It feels like yet another nail in the coffin for a consumer-friendly practice, a trend that I've been talking about that is becoming all too familiar in the video game industry. It's increasingly evident that both Sony and Microsoft are taking steps that appear far more anti-consumer than ever. As these companies battle for supremacy in the gaming industry, one can't help but wonder, is the fight for consumer hearts being forgotten? Certainly feels like it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this absolutely abhorrent decision by Microsoft. And there's nothing anyone's going to be able to tell me to make me say otherwise. I don't care what you think about cheating. I don't care what you think about these devices that shouldn't be allowed. If you buy a product, you should be allowed to do whatever the hell you want with that said product. I understand cheating impacts other players and should be disallowed. Microsoft should be taking steps to get rid of that. But doing a blanket thing like this overextends their reach. It goes far beyond cheating and enters the territory of greed and anti-consumerism. That's how I feel about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing. Smash, Smash,